But let's kick it off though and talk about a fake football team, or at least what somebody on Twitter called a fake football team. My Philadelphia Eagles. In case you missed it, the fourth quarter against the Washington football team, they pulled freshman stud, rookie stud Jalen Hurts, who had just thrown one interception on the game, and instead put in Nate Sudfeld, who hasn't done jack shit in his career and continued to not do jack shit, costing the Eagles the game. Folks, first of all, do you think Doug Peterson purposely tanked to screw over the Giants? The implication being if Washington lost, the Giants go to the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty clear. It's probably one of the more clear tank jobs that we've seen in recent memory. But I don't understand why everyone all of a sudden has a problem with tanking. Like, is it just because Giants fans are annoying? Are they sad boys? Do they want a participation trophy? I don't personally get it. I mean, like, wasn't everyone, including everyone that's mad about what just happened, weren't they really pissed, or weren't they all roasting Adam Gase for winning 2 weeks ago?
I was going to say the Jets have been tanking all season. You don't hear anyone complaining about that.
Oh, no. People were complaining about the Jets tanking. Don't lie. All Out Cover Zero was people were complaining about that.
I mean, that was blatant. That was obviously blatant, and this was obviously blatant. But come on, I mean, you have a team doing a tank job. It happens.
I mean, if you're the Giants and you're going to be a little like bitch boys about it, about crying because the Eagles didn't win a game to better their team in the future, right? Like they went from the 9th pick in the draft to the 6th pick in the draft. Like it is only 3 spots, but like
that's a huge jump, though.
It is a huge jump. Like people are acting like it's nothing. It's just like, well, they get the 6th best player in the draft, or who they think is the 6th best player in the draft, and like they're only helping themselves. If the Giants really cared, maybe they should have won more games in September, in October, November, and December. Yeah, that's just like, you can't sit here and cry like a little bitch and go on Twitter and be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they didn't win the game for us. It's like, shut the fuck up, Giants. Like, who the fuck are you? Like,
literally,
like why do the Eagles owe you anything? You know, like,
why would you put your faith in the Eagles?
Yeah,
it's the most entitled thing. Why do you think you're entitled to the playoffs at 6-10? You suck. You suck. That's why you didn't make the playoffs, and you had to believe in Doug Peterson. You had to be an Eagles fan. That's disgraceful if you're a Giants fan. As an Eagles fan, I would never root for my rival just to get us into the playoffs.
The funniest thing was they were all like, yo, it's a disgrace that the Eagles threw this game. It ruins the integrity of the game. It's like you have a team with 10 wins missing the playoffs, and you think that you're entitled to make it with 6 wins. Who are you kidding? That you're a disgrace to the NFL, dude.
And they literally only had to win 1 game. It's like literally 1 game, and you're sitting there and you're bitching about it. It's just like, shut the fuck up. Like nobody wants to see a 6-10 team. Nobody wants to see the Redskins in the playoffs. It's just like none of those teams deserve to be in the playoffs, and you're going to lose to Tampa Bay. Like, I don't care what anybody says, but like just shut the fuck up. Like, nobody wants to listen to you bitch and complain about a 6-win team not making the playoffs. It's just like Dan Orlovsky needs to shut the fuck up, because he put out a whole thing in his notes he put on Twitter. It's just like, you went 0-16, Dan Orlovsky. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, your team was tanking.
Of the tank complaining about a tank job. Get the fuck out of here.
To be fair, he also played for another tanking team, the Colts, and he was the one that won them 2 games.
Yay, he won 2 games his entire career. So proud of Dan Orlovsky.
So maybe that's his opening to have this take. Maybe he feels that way.
Yay, I won 2 games. That's 4 less than the Giants.
And like everyone's acting like the Eagles had no reason to do it other than the draft pick. But like, it was still a meaningless game. Like, the game literally did not matter to them at all. They didn't care who made the playoffs. It didn't matter at all. So why would you risk Jalen Hurts getting hurt and potentially being hurt into next year?
It's not even like Jalen Hurts played all that well. He had like 76 passing yards.
He did have like 2 touchdowns, though.
But still, who cares? Like he clearly
Yeah.
wasn't he clearly wasn't his day. Just sit him. Just be like,
They probably would have
sorry
won if he
guys.
stayed in though.
But again, like why win a meaningless game and
Yeah.
fuck your team for the future when you can literally set somebody lose the game and let somebody else go into the playoffs because you don't have a chance at the playoffs. It's just like if your whole season comes down to another team winning a game, then you probably don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Like that's just the whole thing. It's just like the Twitter thing really pissed me off because it's just like you're a trash ass team, so you're gonna get treated like a trash ass team. You know, like you're 6-10.
Why on God's green earth is Jalen Hurts not in this game? What the hell? Why do they hate us so much? What did we ever do to them?
My favorite part was former Eagle himself, Golden Tate, decided to bitch on Twitter. First of all, you played for the Eagles. You already know when it comes to the Giants and the Cowboys, it's on site. No one in the NFC East really cares about the Washington football team. They've kind of sucked for a while, so good on them for making the playoffs. But when it comes to the fucking Giants, do you even think that the Eagles would try to benefit them in any way, shape, or form? No, it's the fucking Giants. Fuck the Giants.
Honestly, that makes me like the Eagles now.
It's a rivalry. We got to keep the rivalry alive because we ain't no bitch boys, you know? The Giants can root for us because they're all bitches. But when it comes to the rivalry, we respect the rivalry. We play the rivalry. We don't care about the football team. Good on them. They've overcome a decade of sucking, and they have Alex Smith, who should be comeback player of the year. Good on them. But when it comes to the fucking Giants, fuck them. I'm fine with that. Doug Peterson did a beautiful job. Give him an extend his contract just for saying fuck you to the Giants. Extend that. That's the Philadelphia way.
See, I wish it happened to the Cowboys though.
Same.
That would have been much funnier.
Oh God. But you know what? The Eagles did fuck over Dallas a few years ago, taking Dallas Goedert in the draft. I think, we fucked over Dallas before. It's fine.
I don't know if they would have bitched though, because I feel like they would have seen it coming.
Oh no, they bitched on Twitter. Dallas fans were fucking mad when we took Goddard. They were pissed.
No. When if the Cowboys beat the Giants, like they probably should have.
Yeah.
And then like the Eagles pulled what they just did. I feel like Cowboys fans and Cowboys players would have seen this coming.
I don't know, man. I feel like they would still bitch because, again, they're bitchy fans.
How could you not see it coming, though? Like, it was literally like the whole game.
Yeah.
It was just like they were literally benching people who were just like banged up. And then they weren't even like the play calling wasn't even intended to win the game. Like, literally, the Redskins were handing the Eagles the game. They're like, you can win it if you want to. Like the Redskins shouldn't have been in that game. Like, they turned it over so many times. Like, it should not even have been a game with the way the Eagles were playing.
There was
literally the Redskins sucked.
There was one point, the football team, they had some, I forgot if it was like McLaurin or whoever, was just wide open in the end zone. Secondary, nowhere near him. And Alex Smith tosses it somewhere else, incomplete pass, looks the guy in the eye, and just goes, fuck, I had him wide open.
You pulled a Carson Wentz?
He pulled a Carson Wentz. And I'm just sitting there like, come on. All you got to do, we're literally leaving people wide open just so we can have a chance at Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, But no, you're still nearly losing this game. This is an easy dub if you're the football team. Give us what we want. We just want new wide receivers.
I thought it was great. I thought it was an all-time great troll job by the Eagles. I don't think Peterson should get the blame for it because it obviously wasn't even his call.
Well, I mean, pulling out Jalen Hurts is probably his call.
Yeah, but I mean, like, who do you think told him, like, make sure we don't win this game?
Well, they must have told him to like, hey, listen, your job's safe. You're not getting fired, or he probably would have tried to win that game, But I mean, like, my thought is like, are the Eagles in the league just so that the Giants can get into the playoffs? Not like you're your own organization. You can do whatever the fuck you want to. If you want to throw 16 games, you can do it. If you want to win 16 games, you can do it. It's just like, I can't like the integrity of the game is not a team losing and you getting into the playoffs. Like the integrity of the game is like the best team gets in. And that's what happened.
And I don't know why everyone's mad that it was a late night game, because I thought that was the perfect cap off to the end of the season, personally.
Best way to end out the NFC East, just the Eagles with a giant middle finger to the Giants.
Yeah.
And
and can
a
we
pretty
reflect
shitty
on the
game.
Giants game, the Giants Cowboys game? How who's their running back? They're Gallman.
Gallman, yeah.
So the game's like, they're like, okay, Gallman, you got this first down, the game's over. He gets the first down and fumbles it, and then like falls on it. He like sits on it, and then like they somehow said that it was Giants ball. And like when you look at the review, in live action at least, there was no recovery, like, and the Cowboys were the ones that came up with it at the very end, so they should have had the ball. But then you look at it, and then the Giants, you can tell that Gallman might have had it at the end of the pile, but you can't tell that. That's not going to be inclusive. It's just a replay where you can kind of get a hint for it.
And
so if they called it Cowboys ball, the Cowboys would have had it. So
and you know what happened? Ball don't lie. Ball ultimately don't lie.
I'm just saying, like, the Giants are so mad, but they literally should not have even beaten, or they should not have even beat the Cowboys without their starting quarterback. So I don't know what their problem is.
Ball don't lie. It never does. And the Giants got a first-hand experience learning that.
Yeah, I mean, now I guess they can grow the fuck up.
It take the offseason to get better.
Yeah.
Win 7 games next year and you'll probably get in.
I saw this Giants fan on Facebook. He fucking said that they're going to win 10 games next year.
With Daniel Jones at QB?
Yeah, like that guy, like
David Gettleman still on the team, or still helping out?
I think he gets a bad rap, but Daniel Jones is clearly not the guy.
No. Hell, I don't even think Saquon's really the guy anymore. I don't know how this injury really affects him.
I think he's going to be fine. I just don't know if his style is good for that team. They need a consistent running back. A guy that's going to churn out consistent yardage every time he gets the ball. You can't
He's probably not even going to be there, like, in the beginning of the year anyways.
When did he
it was like October.
Was it his ACL or his meniscus?
ACL.
He might miss training camp.
You're trying to do like the math in your head. It's a 12-month recovery.
Well, it's shorter than 12 months. It's just like to be fully capable of being your old self. I think it's more than 12 months.
I mean, at this point, like,
they say it's closer to 2 years. I mean, they think they're going somewhere, and they kind of have to.
They do, but again, like, you don't have the pieces to go anywhere. Like,
this is like their year. Like, they need to make the playoffs, or they have to make some really big decisions.
Well, let's hope next year that they don't have to rely on the Eagles winning, because again, it's fuck you. Like, I'm sorry.
And honestly, I expect that division to get much better.
It should. I mean, the Eagles are really they're just a few offensive pieces away. Jalen's more than a capable starter. I think if the football team can get a quarterback who can play just a little better than Alex Smith, it's a little more reliable.
Well, and they're going to start leaning more on Antonio Gibson and actually give him a starter's workload. And I think once they do that, that team is going to be very good. The Cowboys, they're going to have a starting quarterback.
I was going to say, once they're healed from injury, man, like that's really what's holding the Cowboys back.
And that defense has been playing pretty good lately.
Yeah.
I mean, they randomly got into playoff contention out of nowhere, and no one was expecting it. So yeah, that division could be pretty decent next year.
I would like to say one thing. The Eagles are really not that close. The Eagles have to gut their whole roster in order to be under the cap.
Aren't they under $80 million or something?
I think it's 65 mil. And if you get rid of Carson, that's like 40 mil gone right there.
It's like 30.
No, you have to. If he's traded, his dead cap is eaten into this year's next year's cap.
they're saying he would have to write a or he would write a check for whatever money would be counted towards their cap. Then they trade him, and then the new team just gives them a new deal.
Okay. Oh.
So I wouldn't do that. That's stupid.
So it's
all right.
weird.
So ignore what I said. The Eagles are quite a bit of ways because we probably have to get rid of Alshon. We probably got to get rid of, honestly, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox.
Zach
That
Ertz.
kills the defense. Zach Ertz is already gone, man. His head was gone.
That's like 15 million, though, I think.
But the second you mentioned contract, he was done.
Yeah.
You know, he was cooked. And plus, we got Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert's good.
Do you really need Zach Ertz?
No, I think he's better than Ertz at this point.
Like, I love having a 2 tight end set. I really do. I think that's honestly the best way to do it to have your offense if you're in the NFL. Because tight ends are just they're X factors, man. They're so versatile in today's game.
Yo, are the Eagles going to have to send a draft pick with Carson Wentz to get him off their contracts? Yeah. Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, they could probably get a second or a third. But I'm thinking, like, they might have to give up, like, a 5th or a 6th or something to even get him off their books.
Which I'm fine. Like, a low draft pick like that, a 5th or 6th, a day 3 draft pick, I'm fine. You know, get a round 2 if you can. Maybe if you can finesse the Colts, get a round 1. Because let's be real, Frank Reich, there's the connection there. There's chemistry.
No, I'm wondering if they literally have to, like, package him with a pick to even get him off the roster, like, not get anything in return, just because you're getting that contract off.
If the team that they're trading for is willing to take on his dead cap, they're gonna have to give up their first round pick.
It's not first.
It's a $60 million cap hit if you trade for him. That's literally what the number is.
Are you saying the Eagles would have to give up their first, or like
the Eagles would have to give up. No, the Eagles would have to give up their first round pick.
The 5th round is just way too steep of a price for that, man. Like, or the 6th pick. Sorry, that's just way too steep of a price.
Well, then he's going to be on the team unless he restructures his deal, and that would be stupid.
I think a day 3 pick would probably make the most sense.
No, do you know, like, the Browns literally bought a 2nd round pick for, like, what was it, $20 million when they traded for Brock Osweiler? You're telling me that a team would not ask the Eagles for their first round pick so that they can get out of cap hell? That's kind of...
I don't know. I mean, I personally view picks way higher than that. I don't think they're worth just money.
So, so the price tag would be $60 million for that first round pick. That's what the deal would be.
Unless there was other suitors. If there was like 3 teams that wanted it, so they would have more leverage.
No team is going to be able to afford him. Nobody's going to be able to take on that $60 million dead cap. That's literally what it is.
It's not 60. I thought it was like 30.
No, you have to pay out all of his signing bonus. It's literally $60 million to get him off your books if you trade him.
There has to be a team. There has to be a team that says, we're done with our quarterback. Let's take a shot on Carson. Because let's be real. This is really one of 2 years where he's really been trash. His rookie season was the first year, this season as well. I mean,
the only issue is there's other quarterbacks on the market that are low-key better than him.
That's true, but how many of those quarterbacks had low-key MVP seasons?
You could argue that Matt Ryan did. You could argue that Matt Stafford did.
That is true.
I would rather have Stafford. Yeah, I mean, let's not even talk about him at this point. But like Matt Stafford, I would rather have him than Carson Wentz on my team.
I don't know. Carson's younger, man. Like, that's an investment into your future as well.
His body is 80 years old.
Has he really had great protection, though? Like, aside from 2 seasons where he did.
He doesn't protect himself.
The past 2 years.
I mean, he doesn't even slide.
As we've seen with Joe Burrow, quarterbacks don't need to learn how to slide. No, we're not going to mention the ACL. We're just not.
I mean, Carson needs to learn how to protect himself.
He does, but
he's making rookie mistakes. Like, he does not protect himself whatsoever. He holds the ball for too long, and he's not he's a tough dude, but like, he has to understand he's not Superman.
Can I say one thing? Allen will trash Carson Wentz for holding the ball too long, but then will praise Josh Allen for his elite what did he say?
Patience.
His elite patience, which goes hand in hand with holding the ball too long. And I just want to know.
So
like,
I was
what's
having
the
this
difference?
conversation on Sunday. I was because I was with my brother who's a Bills fan, and we were talking about how Josh Allen, like, he kind of leaves himself prone to hits. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't really gotten injured yet in his career, just because of the way he plays. And that's not just him like running or whatever, because I mean he does slide. It's just like when he does sit in the pocket, he trusts his guys so much that he's gonna wait until they get open. And all you need is one bad shot and you're gonna get absolutely hammered. It's a good and bad thing. I guess the only difference between them is that Josh Allen has confidence in his receivers. Wentz just holds the ball open and throws up a prayer.
Please, Zach Ertz be down there. Dallas Goedert be down there. Somebody.
Well, he literally does not trust his receivers whatsoever. Like, that's the main red flag for me with Carson Wentz. I mean, we saw Aguilar. He was the worst receiver on the Eagles, and every Eagles fan wanted him out of town.
Well,
There was that one guy that caught the baby, and he was like, oh, yeah, Nelson would have dropped it.
yeah, because Nelson did not know how to track the ball up until this year. Even
He
the
had
Super
three
Bowl
drops. He had 3 drops in 2019.
Even
and
the Super
this
Bowl year,
horrible receiver.
he did not know how to track the ball. He didn't. You could see it every time he played. He just
He was
didn't know how to
still
track the ball.
a pretty decent receiver in the Super Bowl year, even with
He
Wentz.
was. But again, you saw he had tracking problems. This year, I think part of what makes the Las Vegas Raiders pretty solid is I think they have a really good wide receiver coaching staff. And I think that's what really allowed Nelson Aguilar to grow was he was around people who could teach him. I think the Eagles don't really have that, at least for their receiving staff. Because again, where has the receiver growth been?
Are you sure it's not that Carr just has faith in him?
Honestly,
we saw it with Crabtree. I mean, we saw it with literally every receiver he's played with other than Cooper.
Like, all I'm saying is you look at the growth of Aguilar and even Judy this year, or not Judy, sorry, Ruggs, and look at how they've grown compared to Aguilar in past years, and he plays a different game now. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, he went from being like averaging like 9 yards a catch to like 20 yards a catch. But the knock on him last year was that he wasn't a deep threat.
Well, I also think he wasn't the main receiver for the Raiders. I think that plays into it as well. He literally came on at the end of the year.
I mean, he had a couple pretty good games here and there, and like he would break off like 60 yards out of nowhere, which is pretty good for a guy like him.
Yeah, but like when he was on the Eagles, he was the main guy. Like he was the main receiver, at least last year, because Alshon was injured.
I don't know, because like you had Ertz and you had Goddard and you had Sanders, who, I mean,
yeah,
Sanders
but like
wasn't
was
the number one.
Yeah, like
yeah,
he was the main receiver, and he got the number one corner every week. Like that plays a role into it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, Carson Wentz is trash, but like you can't. They're not comparable. He wasn't the number one receiver.
I have to look in to see who was actually covering him each week, because the way everybody acted, like everybody on the Eagles fan base that I have encountered, they acted like he was like their worst receiver.
Les Canal
he was though. Like, it's a problem when Greg Ward is outplaying you, but like Elias said, I feel Nelson Aguilar was kind of forced into that number one receiver role. And I think that hurts a guy who plays pretty damn well in the slot and whose kind of main role was that. But still, I mean, the guy was a first-round draft pick. I feel like that shouldn't have been an excuse. especially being drafted so high, especially being touted that highly. But yeah, it was just a new role for him, and he was uncomfortable. Um, and again, that with his tracking issues, I think really, really hurt him. So shout out to the Raiders.
It's not just him too. Like Greg Ward, like he played really good down the stretch last year, and he was non-existent with Wentz this year. The rookie, hell, he didn't do shit with Wentz, and then the first game that he plays with Hurts, he breaks off 2 touchdowns out of nowhere. Looks like a different player. That undrafted rookie that came out of nowhere with Wentz.
Oh, Fulgham,
he looked amazing for 2 weeks, and then when you look at why he was producing so well, it's literally just because Wentz had faith in him. And then once all of his other receivers came back, that something changed and he stopped force feeding him the ball.
Well, also, I mean, I don't think Fulgham's really played that many snaps since a bunch of those receivers came back. And we're kind of ignoring the progress Deshaun Jackson made with Wentz.
He was still upwards of like 70% of the snaps. I mean, like it's not like he was a non-factor. He just disappeared.
And plus, I feel Deshaun only had 1 game with him.
Well, yeah, but it was a damn good game. I mean, let's be real.
it was 1 game though, and he got hurt during that game, didn't he?
He did, but he was showing flashes of the old Deshaun. That's trust. That's trust right there.
I don't know, man. I think you were talking out of your ass there.
Deshaun will always be a really good receiver. He just
it's delusional Eagles fan in me, man. I gotta make excuses for Carson because we paid $60 million for him. Until we unload him out onto the Colts for a first rounder. Finesse a little bit.
All right.
I don't understand why you think they're in the position to finesse anybody. They're going to get finessed. They're either going to lose it. It's the worst. It's going to be a 2nd round pick, and I could see it being a first if he gets traded, unless he restructures.
Hey. If Howie Roseman can turn Sam Bradford into a first rounder, anything is possible.
Honestly, it doesn't matter if they get a draft pick. It doesn't matter what it is. I view that as a win for them.
They're even a 7th round pick.
Hell, if it's a 7th round pick, I view that as a win for the Eagles.
Most GMs wipe their asses with a 7th round pick. You're going to get a 7th round pick for a former 1st round pick? What was he, the 2nd overall pick? 3rd overall?
Yeah.
The 2nd overall pick, you had to pay all that money, and you're going to get a 7th round pick in return?
Let's go. Let's get a new kicker, guys. Someone to pair up with Jake Elliott.
It really depends on the trade market for quarterbacks, though. If Stafford and Ryan are off limits, then I think there may be like 2 or 3 teams that would try to make a play, and then you're kind of in a competition to get him.
But if you this year's teams that need a quarterback are very limited.
Well, is Jimmy G still under contract?
Yes.
Unless they got him back to New England. Yeah, because you obviously have the Colts, you have the Patriots, you have the Niners. Cowboys might be in need of a quarterback. Actually, that would never happen.
Yeah, why would that ever fall?
Yeah.
We literally established the one thing the Eagles love to do is say fuck you to your rivals.
Unless they know he's trash and they're like, okay, we'll give you him.
Yeah, we
have no problem playing him twice a year.
There's no way they would go to the Cowboys or the Giants, hell, the football team, anybody in the division, anyone in the conference, and say, here you go, here's Carson, our former quarterback, have him on a platter. If we're Eases, let's throw picks at you too,
All I know is that Elias should not put money onto where he goes. Because if that happens, he's probably going to end up on the Jets.
I won't put any money on it.
But I will guarantee you that he will have a high draft pick attached to him when he's traded. They will give up a high draft pick to get him off their books. I guarantee that.
It might be a pick swap.
I could live with that.
It's not gonna be that. I'll guarantee
Like a
it.
first down to a second or something.
No, because we have the 6th pick. Why would we do that? It's the 6th pick. It's Jamar Chase. It's Devontae Smith. It's somebody good. It's somebody good. Let's not do that. I'd rather be in cap hell.
And he's gonna be the most expensive backup in the league.
You know what? If we get Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith, I'm leaning towards Smith personally, but that's just me. Fine, so be it. Try again next year. You know,
All right, I'm done talking about the Eagles.
fucking same. I hate the Eagles, man.
This is the last we have to talk about the Eagles until he gets traded.
Oh god, that sounds like a plan to me.